Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started tonight. And this is our first in-person kind of at a distance meeting in 6 months. So I can't tell you what a treat it is to see everybody. And you know, we talk on the phone, we talk by email, but just to see people is really a blessing right now. And we have some new members and we have a couple of new applicants. So I'd like for the new members, who are brand new members that have been brought into our squadron during the pandemic, if you would one at a time raise your hand and tell us who you are. Troy, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Troy Donovan.
Troy Donovan, and why did you join CAP?
So I used to be a cadet many years ago.
We've got several new ones that are former cadets, so great.
Now my job gives me an opportunity to join Civil Air Patrol again. So.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you back in. Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Okay, who else? Oh, CJ, go ahead.
I said hi at the last meeting too. Hi, I'm CJ Fraser, and CAP is my way of getting back into aviation. I was in the back of Black Box in the Army, and I liked it. I'd like to do something else that involves aviation, and so I can make it fit. So that's what I got.
Thank you. His CAP ID just came through today. So he's like the brand newest member. Okay, and then Jim Schwinn, you're in here if you would.
I'm just a new applicant, just retired from 19 years at FedEx, 20 years in the Air Force before that, and just looking for an opportunity to get back.
We're glad to have you. So, anybody else? Okie doke, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, Lieutenant Colonel Micheletti, would you stand up? And we have a serious flag here.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, everybody got screened, and it's really important to put on a couch for you to sign the attendance log, because one of the things the wing's really upset about is how far behind we are with, actually Pikes Peak is doing very well as far as safety percentages. So please do make sure that you sign in and record it. Okie doke. Okay, some other members that have joined, I mean, this is just in the last like 3 months. So J.P. Redland, who used to be in this squadron, so he's back. Eric Worley, Evan Canfield is also a good friend of Jason Ryan's and an IP as well, and a commercial pilot. Sherry Clark is a retiring Air Force pilot, and she's looking forward to flying again. Brent Soden is the pilot, came out of the Aero Club at USAF and was in our squadron before. So he's come back. Troy Donovan is recognized. Kevin Campbell, who flies in a flying club with a bunch of the local guys. And then, as you know, CJ and Troy Donovan. And then Jim Swint, welcome. Okay, Joe Williams is an IT member of ours. And do you want to do this? Do you want me to do this? You what? Okay, you want to go ahead? We're going to kind of move on it. Do you want to? You might explain what he's trying to accomplish here.
Okay, Joe is, can y'all hear me? First of all, I want to hold this real close here. Sorry about the slide up here. It says something about IT brief and today's date. But Joe's supposed to be here, but he couldn't make it tonight. So I get to stand in his place. Me being in IT and all that sort of rot. Oops, wrong one. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Here we go. So, what's that? Yeah, we got it now. Basically, wanted to give some explanation on what's going on IT-wise with the squadron, with the wing, with National. The short version is Colorado Wing and CAP in general has basically two data systems. National uses e-services. It's the one you get to log in on with your CAP ID. And then Wing uses Office 365, which you get to log in with your Colorado Wing address, email address. So just two places to log in. Sorry we couldn't make it the same, but Office 365 isn't built that way. They do interconnect though, a little bit. Obviously, both systems do require the login. By design, Microsoft Office 365, you have to use an email address. So every one of you have a Colorado Wing email address. To be quiet. And the email address is your first name, period, last name, or decimal, at cowg.cap.gov. That is your official login for the Colorado Wing. Also Pikes Peak too, by the way, since we're part of it. And that is your first name and last name as found in e-services, because that's where it came from. So if you don't have your password to log in there, email, you can't see it very well, you can email me directly. You can email ppss_IT at cowg.cap.gov, and it will come to the IT team. We'll contact you, we'll get you fixed up. It's very important that you do have that login, because more and more, most of the content is going to be on Office 365, and the public website will be just what it is, public stuff. So CAP regulations specify that we have what they call it, the personally identifiable information under lock and key. So that's why we moved Office 365, because the previous system didn't really allow that. But National is clamping down on IT and personally identifiable information. Therefore, that caused us to go to Office 365. Now, Office 365 is a collection of many different applications. We use three of them primarily. Teams, which you're probably all used to by now, hopefully. SharePoint, which is all the file storage that we have. If you click on a link on our website about ES training or operations, it's going to take you to SharePoint, and so you'll be there whether you know it or not. And we use forms, so when you register for a class, you're filling out a form on the site, the Office 365 site, and there's some magic happening, and it squirts an email to the instructor for the class, sometimes ES team, sometimes other people as appropriate. So those are the three big ones that we use. There's, again, many others. It also includes an email system, as I described on your email. You can use that email, which I do, to email anybody in the squadron or outside the squadron for that matter. You don't have to use that if you don't want to, but you do have to use it to log in. I can't change that. But again, you have the choice to use the email or not. Any email sent to your first name, period, decimal, last name at cowg.cap.gov is automatically forwarded to your Gmail or AOL or Yahoo or whatever it is you have. You don't have to do anything, it's automatically forwarded to you. And if you want to change that, again, contact the IT team and we can unforward stuff. You may be able to do that by yourself, but I'm not sure. Again, I'm sorry I can't make the e-services and this system talk with each other any more than they do. New members, every night the Office 365 system talks to e-services, brings down all your information, and I've found out, by the way, that they are now part of the squadron. They fixed that apparently. So automatically you're part of the Office 365 team, and your password for that system is your CAP ID initially. It will force you to change it the first time you log in. Any questions on that? Everyone totally understands. Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, no excuses then.
Thank you. Tell Joe thanks for doing that. Thanks.
Oh, I think I forgot a slide. Yeah, the other half of his presentation.
Okay, Mike Herrera. Okay, first of all, before we get going, because we've got a lot of ES tonight, you realize that emergency services is a lot bigger than just flying. Emergency services is comm, emergency services is ground team, UTF, emergency services also includes the UAS team. So we've grown and expanded the way we run our missions and the type of people that we need to make the squadron go. So realize that you can participate in all those, some of those, and in different ways and help out. It is really important that the pilots all try and get, well, it's not a big deal, it's easy to do. You often use your handheld. You need to be able to be UDF qualified. Because often, as Steve can tell you, during a couple of exercises, you're with an air crew, and the air crew has to land and is told by the IC to shut down the ELT, report it, and there's an entire procedure involved with doing that correctly. If you are not UDF qualified, then you won't be called out for that type of mission. So you really should be trained in UDF, okay? So, you want to go ahead?
Any questions? That's pretty much my whole spiel. I'm Lieutenant Herrera. I'm the GTL, GTM, UDF set for our squadron. If there's any other sets in here with that, please let me know. I'm going to be assisting Steve also and Kent with ground team emergency services.
Define set for our new people.
Say that again?
Define set for our new people.
Oh, that would be the instructor for these tasks. So I have to be on scene when the teaching's going on or exercises so we can sign off the squitters. So I'll be assisting the ES officers with the ground team portion of it. And I know ground team portion is in an aviation squadron kind of hard to talk about, but we do have to have that when we have missions come out. We have a really pretty good time getting air crews here quickly and up in the air for a mission, but getting ground teams together, it's kind of difficult with the training that you need. You need a dedicated ground team with their equipment, and they have to be qualified to be a ground team member in a mission. So we all know that we've been subjected to air search with our aircraft and training with the ELTs. But the ground team also, we're going to have to do training in UDF and ground team member 3. And that's where we're going to start doing some talking to get a dedicated ground team put together. I know it's hard with people who work and for them to respond, but if we can get enough people to get a team together, at least 3 or 4, and when a mission comes in, once they have the air teams up, we like to go ahead and deploy a ground team. When we get a mission from the Rescue Coordination Center, the Incident Command Center is set up, and we start getting teams notified to get brought in. Like I said, air teams are pretty quick to respond, and we're pretty quick to get them up in the air, but that is usually 1 or 2 airplanes, 6 people. So we have a whole bunch of people that we can call from to do other tasks during this mission. It's not working. There we go. We are Inland Search and Rescue, Department of the Air Force. Maritime is through the Coast Guard. We get our research and development from NASA, and our system operation is from NOAA. ES Task Guide, they're hard to find right now, but this is the green Bible of ground team emergency services. This has all the tasks that you need to know about becoming a ground team member. You can also pull it up in emergency services under the squitters and go step by step on what you need to do to become a ground team member. The other thing about being a ground team member is not as, I don't know, you need to look at, you're going to be training in equipment where you could be hiking into an area. The equipment you take that is going to sustain you for at least 24 hours with your 24-hour pack. And then it depends on the mission where you might have to take a 72-hour pack and you could get caught in there. A lot of times here in Colorado, everybody knows we have the weather that comes in pretty quick. So there's a chance that the air teams are going to be sitting on the ground over here, and the ground teams are going to be out doing the searches. We do ELT searches, downed aircraft, lost hikers, and we also are assisting the local emergency management with line searches if we can get enough people together and they know how to activate us. Some of the other things, if you don't want to be a ground team member, try working on being a mission radio operator, mission staff assistant, or any of the other support tasks when a mission comes in. We train with them during SARXs, so it's a good time for you to go ahead and train for some of those and even have them as a secondary. You could be a mission observer, but you could also be mission radio operator if we've already got an observer up in the plane to help fill those slots. One of the things I wanted to throw in there also is it's pretty simple to go on emergency services and get your CAP driver's license. So try to do that. We don't have a vehicle, but if we ever were need to have drivers, that would help out by having your driver's license. And like I said, a lot of the emergency services officers in wing, group, and squadrons will attend local emergency management meetings. They have some of those monthly or quarterly where all the local emergency management ambulance services, sheriff's departments, search and rescue will all come together and talk about what they're doing, what kind of training they have, and what their responses are going to be like. So if we can get one of our emergency services people there from our squadron or somebody to attend those meetings and get to know them and let them know what we're capable of when we get a ground team together or our air team, and it also will help them to know how to get a hold of us and get us out if they need us for a mission. ES opportunities coming up, there's not too many, but Group just came up with, Colonel Moe just came up with, Group 3 is going to host an online ground school in the next couple of weeks. We don't have the dates or times yet, but it's going to be a GTM-3 and a UDF ground school. So you pilots who need UDF, you might want to get in on this and get your ground school out of the way. And then in October, we're going to do some exercises to complete your training. I know it's hard to do this kind of training online, but we're going to do the ground school part of it, and then anything that you need help with during that exercise, before we start the exercise, we'll talk about that and get it done. And then with Pikes Peak Senior Squad, we're so busy getting O-rides going and all the pilots back up and stuff, so we really haven't got anything planned right now. But like I said, with this group doing it, it's already going to be, going, so we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to jump on board with them, and we can do that training. So this SQTRs is, if you're in emergency services and you're new here, get on ES and start working with it. If you are having trouble with it, get a mentor here that knows about it and work with them, because when you do training and you don't have it right on your SQTRs, then that training might not count as far as dates and commander's approval and things like that. So work with that. If you need help, I'm available, or some other of the mentors around here will be able to help you with that. The mission forms, squitters, mission scanner, mission observer, mission pilots, this is all the stuff you need to know about. But like I said, when you go on, if you want to be in GTM-3, go into GTM-3 and the squitters, start at the top. The first thing you have to have is general emergency services. So get that done. And then you go to commander's approval, but make sure you go in step with that squitter and get it done. If you have any questions, just give me a call or get with me. Thank you. That's all I have, folks.
Thank you. And something that's going to be really important, someone in your team having a GTM-3 or basic ground training will be very important for the UAS team. It will also be very important for the use of the radios, being able to check out the Motorola's, which is what Larry's going to be talking about in a little bit here. So having that initial ground team qual. Now, me hiking with a 75-pound pack, that ain't happening. But do we have a pack that allows us to go in if we are with an aircraft, or do we have a 25-pound pack we have to be prepared with? And I realized we always talk in vegetable soup. And now with me listening to Mike, I'm going, oh yeah, I said all those things and nobody knows what they are unless you've already done it. UDF is urban direction finding. And what that is the ground team going in after the air crew has located the ELT, which is an emergency locator beacon. And then when you talk about Squitter, which is vegetable soup only CAP uses, it's actually a training record that's in e-services. So if you're new, those are kinds of things that we'll be helping you with as you move along. Okay, you want to do the UAS update?
Okay, so now I get to talk as me.
UAS?
See again?
What's UAS stand for?
UAS. Somebody tell me what UAS stands for? SUAS is a small UAS. No, UAS is unmanned or uncrewed aircraft system. So for the squadron, presently I'm the DOU, which is Director of Operations for UAS, whatever that is. Last month, I guess it's last month now, yeah, it's already September, we had, on August 22, we had 2 new pilots in the making, spent 3 or 4 hours training, so that was pretty cool. And more training coming soon, as you'll see in a future slide here in just a few minutes. We still need fully qualified, fully trained UAS technicians. Now, UAS technician does not require FAA Part 107 certification. If you go to our website, Pikespeak website, under ES training, look under UAS technician, it'll take you to SharePoint, and it'll, there's a roadmap down there. You can see step by step exactly what you need to do to get trained. No Cap 5U, Cap Form 5U required, no Cap Form 91U required. Just be there, be knowledgeable, and have a good set of eyeballs, because you're going to be looking a lot. For personalized training, you can contact Captain Steve Denning at this address, Stephen.Denning, or myself, Keith Watson or William Watson, either way, and we can get out and fly some. Take you through the baby steps. Be glad to do that. Nobody's called me yet. I think Steve got 1 or 2 calls, so, but we're available. I'm probably a little bit more available than Steve is right now because he works at the hospital and is tied up with medical stuff. But either one of us would be glad to help you. UAS updates. We depend on CAP Regulations 70-1U, which is our Bible that we live by. It's still in draft form, but per the National Commander, it is what we use to get qualified. Qualifications can be entered in e-services, and but they have to be done under certain order, just like Mike's stuff, the UDF stuff. Colorado Wing and Pikes Peak are developing a standard operating procedure for UAS missions, because this is all brand new stuff, and there aren't any ground rules except for CAP Regulation 70-1. And it doesn't tell a whole lot as far as once you're called for a mission, how to do it. So that's being developed as we speak, and it should be available here pretty soon. The Department of Defense, probably some of you might know this, has given 5 small drone manufacturers, UAS manufacturers, permission to sell to the military and federal agencies. In the case, or in the wake of last year's ban on these agencies buying Chinese-made drones. This list is called a blue list, and Skydio, Parrot, which is a French company, Teal, Altavian, and Vantage Robotics, all U.S. companies, make specialized drones for the military and other federal agencies, and they are available, or will be available. I don't think they're available just yet. Best picture I could find of the Skydio, CAP has purchased 150 of these little guys, basically for practice. We should be getting one or two, but they're going to be dispersed throughout the 52 wings. This is the Anafi by Parrot. Very nice drone. This is the Teal. It's a very nicer drone. Probably much more expensive too. This is the Altavian. And this is the Vantage Robotics. Kind of a bad picture, best one I could find on the spur of the moment. So, bottom line, if you have a drone, if you're part of the program, if you want to be a part of the program, fly your drone, log your hours. Even if you have just a little toy drone, log the hours, they count. And get with us and we'll take you down the road to get qualified.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, if we have, I know Steve and Keith, and we even have a Spark at home. If you are just getting started in drones, just so you know how to be able to use them, get some flying time in, practice with some of the guys that are already UAS pilots or UAS technicians, and get some practice in. And everybody's great about sharing their drones. So, okay.